Make a Path presents Let's Talk.
Let's talk. Is Sasha the new comic Andrea? Andrea, whatever. Alright, deadheads, yes, back to this topic. If you saw, before Season 5 I did a video, is Sasha the new Andrea? If you didn't watch that video, just to recap, I basically said that I personally believe that Sasha is absorbing the sniper storyline from comic book Andrea. But I'm not completely sold on the whole romance with Rick or absorbing much more of Andrea's story. Now, the Walking Dead official website did an article. This is by Lizzie Iverson. Is Sasha the new Andrea? They do make a couple points here. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. I encourage you to go there and read it. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to go over my final thoughts and a couple corrections and then a couple additions to add onto her thoughts. So let's run through this quick because there is a number of videos I want to get done before the new episode. Now, first things first, it's called The Parental Woes, and that was given to Carol. Comic book Andrea had to deal with a psycho child and the two kids. One kid killed the other kid, and that was Billy and Ben. If you're familiar with the comic book storyline, it went a lot different than in the TV show. Carol, as you know, adopted the comic book Andrea storyline with the messed up children, with the Lizzie and Mika role. On the TV show, Sasha got the tainted meat scene. In the comic book, it was Andrea and Dale for the tainted meat. On the TV show, it was Sasha and Bob. Now, on here, she goes on to say that not only did she have the sitting at the bed with the boyfriend who was the one taken by the hunters, she also says that Andrea put Dale down, when he turned or when he was going to turn in the dark moment, they call it, and then Sasha did it. This is one of the corrections. Sasha doesn't do it. She can't do it. She was there to do it. I give her the points for that as far as relating her to comic book Andrea's. She basically took all of Andrea's dialogue from that scene, interrogating the preacher with the hunters. She got Andrea's stuff. It's not like that's the moment where you're like, oh, well then she's not comic book Andrea. It doesn't matter. But that was just a minor mistake by the author. Probably just doing this list real quick and misspoke. So, moving on. Sasha the sharpshooter. Now, in the comic book, this is the main point we're talking about with Andrea. She is the sharpshooter for everything. Now, in the TV show, Sasha, especially this season, she has it with the wolves. She has it at Grady when she was with Daryl on that roof. That is what she's talking about here. They are leading Sasha definitely in that direction. And when we're first getting into Alexandria, they have a scene that does nothing for the story. And it makes you wonder, is this foreshadowing or telling us as soon as they get there, Rick tells Sasha to take care of a walker. She pops him and they shut the gate. Was that a confirmation that she is Andrea? Comic book Andrea, I'm talking now. Next, the Watchtower. In the comic book, her being in the bell tower plays an important role a number of times. Now, in the show, they're already putting Sasha there. She already wanted to go up there when Rick and them were talking about security. She already got bullets to go out shooting, was talking about being in the bell tower. In the previews, we see that she never comes down from the bell tower, or Abraham went to relieve her. We're seeing her in the bell tower, and one of the most exciting things that I cannot wait for is to officially see Sasha in the bell tower. And I know we got a couple close-ups, and we know that's an image of her in the bell tower, but they have the bell tower. They have the Alexandria safe zone. I want to see the image, or maybe even the point of view of Sasha looking at that bell tower. I think that, for a comic book fan, would be probably one of the most exciting, subtle things that I would want to see. So, moving on after that, and last we have the romance with Rick. Now here we have a Michonne question mark and Sasha question mark. Now I know there's a lot of people who want Michonne and Rick to be a couple on this show. I am not one of those. I absolutely adore their relationship in the comic book, which is almost identical to the relationship they have currently on the TV show. And that's closeness. Like, they are as close as you get without having sex. They're like brother and sister. And I know a lot of people, especially if you want them to hook up, you're like, ew, that's gross. She was touching his hand and she was intimate here and he was giving her the look. And a lot of people, we need to sit back and realize that a lot of this they do for the camera, for the audience. And it's not to trick us, I don't mean that. It's because they want us to see an emotion in the character. And a lot of times when they're showing us Rick and they want us to feel the emotion of either danger, comfort, understanding. They want us to try to read and translate these emotions. And a lot of time, us as viewers, especially if you're into the whole coupling scene, a lot of times we'll read these emotions and think that he's madly in love, he's given her that look, when in fact it means something else. Now, I'm not trying to discredit the Rick and the Michonne relationship. I personally, if they went that direction, and like I always say, if the story is good, I will accept it, as long as the story is good. But my preference, I would prefer if they stuck with that close bond. I don't need them to bang to make it any, you know what I mean? I don't need that. Right now in the story, if somebody took Michonne and they put her in a building and they just went to the front and they were like, oh, we're going to kill this bitch, whatever, I know 100% Rick is going to demolish that place and rip that person limb from limb. I don't need them to be in a sexual relationship for me to feel something there. Rick has so much love for Michonne. It is just clear as day. Again, I don't mean that in a sexual way. Basically, that's where I stand on the Michonne thing. Again, and I hate to have to repeat myself because a lot of people assume. Like, if I say I don't want them to be a couple, people will assume that I hate the idea or that this and this and this. Or they'll assume that I definitely want Sasha. Now, they do need to work on that. If Sasha's going to be with Rick in the show, they need to work that in there. And don't be surprised if it happens within only a few episodes. If you do read this, I am just trying to correct you here. Don't get confused. She does make another mistake. Alice did not carry her story on after the prison. It was to prison and over with, and she never even dated Rick in the prison. She's simply confusing Alice for Jesse. Just mixed up the names around. But again, I gave you the two corrections, and there is something I just want to add to this. I know this is a long video, and I do apologize. But one thing I do want to add was going into Alexandria, Rick and Andrea sat in the front seat, and Andrea was mourning Dale. You know, this was a little bit after Dale had passed. They had a small time skip, but Alexandria was like the next story after the Hunters. With the TV show, we saw it is Michonne and Rick, and they had a lovely entrance as well. And with Andrea not being on the TV show, it's nice what they did with that story since Andrea isn't there. I really like their entrance into Alexandria on the show. I thought that was really good. And one more final thing I do want to add. Andrea's scars in the comic, they did pay homage to that, and they gave that to Beth. If you look at Beth's face, Andrea has the scars on the same side. I should say this side, but they had a bullet that grazed her skin, didn't go in her head, but it grazed her skin, and it scratched her skull, I think they said. That was pretty cool. But so she got cut right here, and then Thomas in the prison cut her with a knife. So Andrea's got her marks here and here, and I believe they did different for Beth. They went something like that, didn't they? Because Dawn hit her, and then she got beat up later with Dawn, and she ended up having 2 marks. So they paid homage through Beth. They gave Michonne the entrance scene, as well as a couple other scenes. They gave Carol the Lizzie and Mika thing. They gave Maggie something. It was something small, and I remember it from, I could have sworn it was season 4, or maybe I'm just losing my shit here, but I could have sworn Maggie had a piece of Comic Andrea's line somewhere, or something. But guys, keep in mind, I do talk about this, but the TV characters do adopt, you know, different comic book dialogue, stories, all the characters, they remix it and everything like that. But Comic Book Andrea is the one that everyone's so curious about because Andrea is not on the show anymore. With that said, I do want to hear your opinion in the comments down below. Now, not only do you think that Sasha is going to be the new Comic Andrea, but in how much? Do you think she's going to be the whole way, a little bit, just the sniper? And also, what else did we leave out of here? What else did me and the author of this article leave out of adopting story and scene from the comic book and bringing it into the show? What else did we miss that you picked up on? Is there, I don't know if I'm being clear with that. Did I say that clear? What happened? What happened as far as comic book Andrea's story in the comic book that a different character brought to the screen? That makes it a little better. So, what did we miss? Leave those in the comments section down below. So, what did we miss? Leave those in the comments section down below, and also give your opinions on this topic. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.